What's up, my friends? Happy Thanksgiving, depending on when you're watching the show. We've got 3 NFL games to cover. That's a lot of player props, some slips, some picks, some parlays, so let's get to it. I'll be using MySperryEdge.com to go through all sorts of player cards for every single game. I have so many prop angles I want to look at. Just do me a huge favor. If you're going to like this video today, like it, okay? And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. 7 days a week, there are videos or live shows. No matter what, I try to find ways to line your pockets. And right below me right now, you'll see this new little graphic, $1 for your first week if you want to try this out. Grab the VIP link down below and use code DOLLARDONUT. All right, let's get to it. Let's make some plays. Jared Goff, first up. Listen, this man at home has been an absolute steal, averaging 273 yards per game passing when playing in front of the home faithful. And he's been over in 10 of the last 15 games at home. That's last season and the playoffs. And this season, 3 of 5 games. In recent weeks, we've actually seen him throw the football a little bit more, too. He's been so efficient. 24 of 29 2 weeks ago, 26 of 36 last week. The yards are coming. The home splits are interesting. And let's take it one step further. For the passing touchdowns, he had 2+ going into this past game against Indy in 7 of 8 games. Did not have a touchdown pass against Indianapolis. I expect the bounce back to happen this week. Here's another cool stat. In those 15 home games over the last 2 years, including the playoffs, he has 2+ passing touchdowns in 10 of 15 home games. When you look at the wins from last year and this year in front of the home crowd, he hit the over in 8 of 12 games. And in his 24 wins last year and this year, he has 2+ passing touchdowns in 15 of them, just about 60% hit rate. Bears have been interesting. Their defense looks good on paper. 10th least passing yards in the NFL, least passing touchdowns in the NFL. And then you go look at who they played, when they played them, and it's a disaster piece. I'm telling you right now, this is an inflated statistical defense. They faced the likes of Will Levis, Anthony Richardson earlier this year when he was a struggling quarterback and couldn't stay healthy. Matt Stafford without Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Drake May, Kyler Murray, Andy Dalton, Trevor Lawrence. I'm telling you, these guys just, when they played them too, just weren't playing well either. I think Goff's in an interesting spot. Well, everybody's going to be talking about the running game, and I'm telling you right now, I will too. I have 2 running back plays for this game. I think we could have some interesting plays here for Jared Goff. Now, moving on, Caleb Williams. You're going to see this graphic and be like, Mitch, what are you doing here? He hasn't thrown a pick in 5 straight games. Listen, short week, 10.5-point underdogs, 48.5-point total in Detroit, and facing a defense that has an interception against 11 of the 12 quarterbacks they faced this year. And a lot of that has to do with the opposing quarterbacks needing to throw the football to come from behind because the Lions are so darn good and are scoring at will offensively. So what happens today, Thursday, whenever you watch this video, when Caleb Williams is down by that 10.5-point spread in the second half, they're down by 3 scores, 17 points, something like that, and they're in trouble. And we've got 20 minutes left on the clock. Well, Caleb Williams is going to start heaving the football. And here's the deal. In these games, because the Lions are up by so much, and they had a pick against 11 straight quarterbacks before this past week against Anthony Richardson of all quarterbacks, well, they've allowed 37 pass attempts per game. I wouldn't even call it allowed. They've given up 37 pass attempts per game. That is the 3rd most in the NFL. Teams need to throw the football against the Lions to move the football because their rush defense is good and because they're usually losing by quite a few points. I expect nothing different this week, and I like the over for the interception. So when you're using the website, it is important that you are looking for the best odds. So you saw, I just went to the interception market by clicking the market here, and I went to interceptions thrown. I selected it, and you'll see Caleb Williams pop up, and you're starting to see the line move already. Very interesting odds for a player that has not thrown an interception in 5 straight games. You would think that this would be like a +110, but it's not. He's a -125 best odds. Dabble over there, fixed price site, -121 is essentially the payout. This is an interesting play. And just to quickly run down what the odds were for the other plays I talked about, Here's the passing yards for Jared Goff. Best line you're going to get is 243.5. You can take the over on FanDuel, -114 if you like it there. And if you want to take the passing touchdowns for Jared Goff, you can see Jared Goff passing touchdowns. This one also is moving. Best odds, -128 on FanDuel. PrizePicks, fixed price site, is actually a really good play for PrizePicks. I'll tell you right now, for you PrizePicks fans, a -134 aggregate odds, 57.26% implied probability that he throws 2+ touchdowns. And PrizePicks is giving you a fixed price payout over there at a -115. That's pretty good. But let's move on. I've got more plays for you. Let's talk about Jahmyr Gibbs. I love Jahmyr Gibbs in this short week. David Montgomery left the game with a shoulder injury. He did put the pads back on, came back to the sideline, helmet on, looked like he potentially was ready to go. But I think he was more like in an emergency case, break glass, put David Montgomery back in the game. They didn't need him back in there. Gibbs was churning out yards, so they left him in there and they let him close out. I expect a very similar situation this week. Short week. The Lions have their eyes set on the Super Bowl. If they're winning early, Monty's going to start losing those snaps. He's going to lose probably a rotation or two at least in this game. I would expect many more, especially if the Lions are up by, or covering the 10.5-point spread. Can you see David Montgomery being thrust out there with a shoulder injury? Their bruiser running back, their red zone guy inside the 5. Inside the 5, they don't do the tush push. They literally just, 1 yard out, Monty, get in there, break a tackle, put your nose down. And he does it. He loves to do it. And he's great at it, as we've seen all season with his rushing touchdowns this season. He has a ridiculous amount. I mean, he has scored in 9 of 11 games. He has 2 games with 2+. That's 11 rushing touchdowns in 11 games. So do they want to risk their potential goal line back, their thumper for the long stretch of the season or even the playoffs? No. So I think they put kid gloves on here. They protect them if they don't need them. And that means Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get some extra opportunity. I already like this play, regardless of whether or not Montgomery is playing. It's a short week. They're favored by 10.5. They're home favorites, always big things for running backs. And of course, they're facing the Lions, who have given up 8 straight starting running backs overs for the rushing yard markets. Now, I understand that Jahmyr Gibbs, 1A, 1B, not starter. David Monty gets on the field first. Okay. But we don't need to look at the lines and say, all right, he's not a starter. This does not apply. He's going to likely get the Lions' share of the carries. But yes, you're welcome. Like this video if you like these dad jokes. I'm telling you right now, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get more opportunity in this game. I really, truly believe it. And I think you're seeing that. It's indicative of this narrative coming to fruition when you're looking at the props. We have David Montgomery at a 36.5 rushing yards line this week. Jahmyr Gibbs all the way up there at 71. He's usually about 59 to 65 yards. He had 21 carries for 90 yards. I actually expected more rushing yards, despite the fact that that's 4.5 yards per carry. Hammered in 2 rushing touchdowns. And by the way, let's talk about that one as well. Jahmyr Gibbs turning into an all-around running back lately. He's had 3 touchdowns inside the 5-yard line, usually only where Monty lives. And he's had 3 over the last 5 games. So he's getting some red zone work. Had another one this past week, 5-yard touchdown run. He's caught a few this season. Actually, he caught one earlier this season, but he caught a few last year. He can score from wherever. He's got great hands. He can always bust loose on any given play. And I expect nothing different in this game. And when I was looking back at this is kind of nuts. I want you to take this information and run with it, my friends. In 8 of 11 this season at home over the last 2 years, he's scored in 10 of 14. So he's been scoring at will, but when he's at home over the last 2 years, he has scored 75% of the time. That's 14 game sample size, but it gets better here. When you go back and you look at when the Lions win the game, okay? This is winners. We want winners. He has hit the over. Well, I guess he's scored a rushing touchdown or a receiving touchdown in 16 of 22 games. Out of those 16 touchdown games, 14 of them were rushing touchdown games. So if you like the rushing touchdown market, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a very underutilized market. You go to the rushing touchdowns only, and you can see sometimes you get some interesting lines here. Every once in a while, you get a steal. David Montgomery rushing touchdown -175. Jahmyr Gibbs -160. Keep those in mind because I'm going to show you the total touchdowns really quick. So Jahmyr Gibbs, total touchdowns, I'm going to type it in his name just to avoid looking through all these names. And oh my goodness, we're getting 40 cents. That's right, a 40-cent discount on Fliff for the minus 160 rushing touchdown for Gibbs. And then for Montgomery, who had a minus 170, Fliff has him at a minus 205, minus 185 on FanDuel. So you get about 10, 15 cents off versus FanDuel. So just keep that in mind if you like those to take them there as a rushing touchdown, probably in play. Now, another interesting way you could use this, and this is something I'll probably create and whip up for my premium members, which, by the way, again, it's $1 if you want to try it for a week. There's 15 premium channels. I'm about to give away a parlay for you. And by the way, we have 2 more games, and I still have players to talk about for game 1. It's $1 for 15 premium channels, 8 plus premium cappers, 10 plus premium sports covered. It's $1 to try it out for a week. Hop in, see if you like it, see if you can envision yourself being profitable there long term. And if so, stick around thereafter. Heck, if you have a good time for a week or two and you're like, you know what, I'm going to sign up on the monthly. I've got a promo. You just shoot me a DM and I'll hook you up with a 50% off. I don't care, honestly. Just get your feet in the door, try it out for $1, and let's have some fun together. I really, truly think you'll like the Discord. I do. It's a fun spot. Now, Montgomery, let's talk about him in a hot second because I want to give you this Gibbs parlay. I like the Gibbs anytime touchdown this week, and Jahmyr Gibbs 60-plus rushing yards or 50-plus rushing yards, depending on how much juice you want to cut out of this one. He's had 60-plus rushing yards in every single game other than the season opener against LA. That's 11 straight games at 60-plus. You can make it safer at 50-plus if you feel the need. And here you go. I'm going to show you. I'm going to slide this down to 60. The alt line slider button right there. Okay, so there you go, my friends. Do what you want with that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 straight. There you go. 10 straight games. He has had 60-plus rushing yards. So I'm taking Gibbs 60-plus. And an anytime touchdown. All right, let's move on. David Montgomery rushing touchdown. Again, I already talked about this in the beginning. A little worried about the shoulder, but if he does suit up, he has scored in 11 of 13 home games last 2 seasons, 17 of 22 when they've won the game. I would say if he does suit up, the rushing touchdown probably would be used in just like a parlay. Give me Monty to score and the Lions to win, and you'd probably get like a minus 115 or so out there on Fliff, minus 120, so on and so forth. Heck, you could even take Gibbs and Monty and thrust them into the same exact parlay, single game parlay, put those 2 in there with the Lions to win, because if they're both scoring, they're likely both winning. The Lions are likely winning the game. So you could take them, and they have, interestingly enough, if they have both scored, the Lions have won in 11 of 13 of those games. So give me them to both score in the home win for Thursday, Thanksgiving, as a parlay with the Lions money line. That's a plus odds lay. That's a little over plus 220. You can use a boost on it, depending on your sports book. I think you'll enjoy yourself. But be careful, okay? These are all early leans. The premium picks will go inside Discord, my friends. Let's move on to some of these wide receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown dealing with his own little injury of some sort on Monday's walkthrough. Did not go through it with some type of knee injury. I don't know if they're just resting a little veteran experience on the short week. They just give him the opportunity to rest a little bit as an important piece to the puzzle. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, pay attention, though. Pay attention. If he misses Tuesday's light, some type of light practice, he's limited or something. Okay, I feel okay. But if he misses Tuesday's practice, then I'd start to be a little concerned. If you're looking at anything for him, it's tough, right? Because if they're up 1 billion points, do they throw the football as much? I don't know. I do think we're due for another touchdown. Why? Because he didn't catch one last game. Despite not catching one, he had a tutty in 8 straight games. So bounce back spot for ARSB. I expect a receiving touchdown because I liked Goff for the passing touchdowns. If you're looking at yardage, though, give me J-Mo, man. This kid makes plays. We didn't see it as much last year. We were waiting for it. Health has returned. He's been back in the lineup the last couple of weeks, and he's looking explosive as usual. Listen, when you bet on J-Mo, you're just hoping he finishes the game. He's a catch away from hitting the over on his receiving yards in any given game. His receptions have been pretty solid, 3+ and almost 67%. The long receptions, very similar. He busts loose almost every single game. It's the receiving yards for me, though. 2 catches, and he hits the over at 46.5. That's a nice lean. Keenan Allen, listen, new offensive coordinator out there in Chicago last 2 games, or at least a new person calling plays, if I want to be correct here. And we saw Keenan Allen, turn back the hands of time a little bit in this one. 15 targets against Minnesota, 9 receptions, 86 yards, and a tutty in the overtime loss. Short week against the Lions. Interesting spot against the team. Of course, the Lions giving up 37 pass attempts per game, 3rd most in the NFL. Well, maybe Keenan Allen receptions is back in play this week. For me, I don't think so. You know where I'm going? DJ Moore. Despite him being out-targeted, he's looked really, really comfortable last 2 games with Caleb Williams and the new offensive coordinator play caller here. And he's had 7 targets for 7 catches. 7 targets, 7 more catches in back-to-back games, 62 and 106 in those games. And despite, inefficient offense throughout the year, he's been catching the football, and maybe not getting down the field the way they brought him in to get down the field. The receiving yards really haven't been there. The long receptions have not been there, but the receptions have been there, even earlier this season. So give me DJ Moore over 4.5 receptions is one of my favorite plays on this short week for Thanksgiving against a team they're probably going to be playing behind against and who's giving up 37 pass attempts per game. I like DJ Moore more than I like Keenan Allen on a short week with Keenan Allen's age. Tight ends, Samuel Laporta. Listen, we banged this one out 2-3 times earlier this year. I'm going back to the well this week. If Amon-Ra St. Brown is limited at all, Jamison Williams stretching the field for this offense, and, the running game's churning out good yards. Guess who thrives majorly in these situations? It's Samuel Laporta Jr. Play action down the seam. You see a few shots per game, and he's continued to catch. He had 1 or 2 that were like 25-yard possible catches, overthrows, things like that this past game. He had 6 targets. It was a great opportunity. 6 for 3 and 66. 2 games ago against Houston and a tutty, one of his best games of the season. He's been getting more targets lately. 6, 3, and then 6 and 6 again. And the yards have been there with the long receptions. So I want the long receptions. I don't want to bet on him to be a receptions guy or anything like that. Receiving yards, I want the long receptions this week. And I would go there at 16.5 yards to the over, baby. Cole Kmet getting some more opportunity last 2 games. Again, new OC play calling here. And he's done a little bit better, 42 and 64 receiving yards, receptions of 3 and 7 off 3 and 10 targets in those 2 games. And the snap count's really what's most secure here is 70 snaps and 76 snaps. That's been over 88% in both of those games. So Cole Kmet on the field for 90% of the time, essentially, against a team giving up 37 pass attempts. Cole Kmet passing receiving yards and receptions are both in play for me. The long reception, something I'll think about. Now, that was very verbose. I went through all the players of game 1. We're not even done. I will be real with you, though. I spent a lot of time on this Lions game because I had a lot more plays that I found interesting in this one than the next one, which is the Cowboys and the Giants. So before we get to that, do me a huge favor. If you liked the Lions and the Bears breakdown, please like this video. Tell me down below in the comments section what you are most thankful for this Thanksgiving. I'm being real with you. I want to know. Tell me what you're most thankful for. You don't have to get too personal. Keep it light if you'd like. I will tell you as this video goes. I can tell you right now, it's essentially family and health. That's it for me. I'm with my family. I'm closer to my extended family, and we're all essentially in pretty good health these days. And what else could you ask for in life? I'm very thankful for that. That is my priority 1, 2, and 3. I will dabble in some of the other things I'm thankful for, some lighter ones here as the video goes, but I would love to hear from you as well. So let me know down below as we move into game 2. We're going to be looking at Cooper Rush versus Danny DeVito. That's right, the New York Giants. Cowboys 4-point home favorites, 38-point total. Not going to be a fun one. I'm going to type in Cooper real quick for you so you can see me using it. And it brings up all his player props. I'm telling you right now, the only thing I'm really looking at for the Cowboys in this game is going to be his passing yards, and that is it. I want nothing to do with it. Cooper Rush at a $1.99.5, -112 on Penny. I'm going to pop open his player card, and you can see, he's had 2 starts here, 354 against Houston, another 247 against the Washington Commanders. He went 32 of 55 in that game against Houston, and then 24 of 32, a very efficient 247 for 2 tutties in the big upset win against Washington. Now, surprisingly enough, we've had 8 starts from Cooper Rush over the last 3.5 seasons. And in those starts, my friends, he threw for 325, 235, 215, 223, 354, and 247. The 2 unders were 102 and 181. So what do you think here in a short week at home? Turkey up for grabs, the turkey leg up for grabs here. I'm taking a higher than 199.5. And it's funny because you go back and you look at those games too. He's thrown the ball a ton. I'm like, they go out there and they're like, all right, Cooper, just heave it. 40, 31, 31, 38, 55, 32 pass attempts. So Giants go out there, try to stop the run. Cooper has to throw the football. And what happens? The passing yards follow suit. So give me the over 199.5. That is just a lean. No officials there. Nothing to be excited about for me, so I'm not touching it. On the other side of things, Tommy DeVito got a start this past week, threw for a $1.89 against Tampa, completed 21 of 31 passes. I am not excited at all about this game or these players. Good luck trying to figure out what you're getting out there for New York. Tyrone Tracy looked like he had seized the backfield, and there was no giving it back. He had 103 rushing yards, 66, 145 in 3 straight games. Singletary comes back this week, and they have a massive timeshare. Tyrone Tracy's snap share went all the way down to 41%. So good luck there trying to figure that out. CeeDee Lamb played 94% of the snaps this past week with Cooper Rush, had 67 yards receiving on 12 targets, 10 catches for 67 yards. Yikes. But I will say there's another passing play here, maybe a little correlation. If you think, like I do, Cooper Rush is going to chuck it, 6.5 receptions for CeeDee Lamb at plus odds, an interesting play. We saw him have 10 last week and 8 2 weeks ago with Cooper Rush under center. And even the game where, Cooper Rush came in relief, he did have 6 catches in that one as well. It's plus odds. It's a plus odds play for CeeDee Lamb. And you know what? Why not? Because I'm sure you're just itching to see something other than my mug. Let's type in CD. And let's bring up his player card. Again, there's the plus odds on FanDuel. Plus 108. ESPN Bet gave me a minus 110. Nice value here right now. Let's look at CD Lamb, though. I'm not looking at the receiving yards. Heck, you don't know what you're going to get. I don't know what I'm getting out of long reception, unfortunately. What I do like is the receptions prop. You can see last 5 games. Some with Dak, some with Cooper coming in this game against Philly, starting these last 2, 8 and 10. And the targets have been crazy. He's just getting a ton of targets. Nothing's going to change this week at all. So, 6+ receptions plus odds for CD, probably the best spot right now for the Dallas side of things, truly, if I take a step back and think about it. All right, next up, let's go to this event, and I can actually bring up everybody from this final game, Miami and Green Bay. Green Bay is favored by 3.5 points in this game, 47-point total. It's going to be very cold, and, well, there's this stat going around. Everybody's seen it, under 40-degree weather. Tua is 0-7. Ooh, good luck. Primetime football on the road, short week, and it's cold. Yeah, boy, this could be an interesting one. Maybe Packers minus 3.5. Just take it and run with it. Could be an interesting play in and of itself. So let's move on, though. I want to take a look at a lot of players in this game. We got some flashy ones, some bigger names to talk about. So let's get to it. Let's start with Tua on the road. Short week, cold weather guy, just not it, right? Well, I don't know. Lately, he's been looking a little bit better. 288, 317, as he is returning to full health after his back concussion there. The pass completions have been pretty good. He's hit over 22.5 this season in 5 of 7 games. Pass attempts have been there as well. And then the passing touchdowns, well, you'd expect this to be like this if he's completing so many passes. Hopefully this is a good sign for you Miami Dolphin fans. But again, it's a very tough spot here. Green Bay defense has been pretty good this season. They've not been a pushover by any means, allowing 1.3 passing touchdowns per game, 31 attempts, and 226 passing yards. That's top 15, between 10 and 15th in the NFL for all stats, so slightly above average pass defense. I'm looking, interestingly enough, at the passing yards and the under at 241.5. I don't know if I can take the under on a low pass completion line of 22.5. He could throw the ball 40 times and hit the over, even being inefficient, but the passing yards could still stay under. That's currently kind of where I'm leaning for this one, but I'm not feeling great about any Tua props. He's playing better right now. This team is starting to look a little bit better. They've got Devon Achane moving the football on the ground for them. On the flip side of things, we get Jordan Love, who is coming off probably one of his worst games of the season. Yes, I just said it. He threw 13 for 23, a buck 63, and 2 tutties against San Fran. But if you watch the game, there should have been about 3 picks. There were multiple drops by the defense. One right in the chest, bounced off the chest. Another one off the hands on a tip ball. Should have thrown 2 interceptions. Just didn't look good. Part of it was the fact that Josh Jacobs was just churning out yards. Short week at home. Does Jacobs get the rush attempt volume that they usually give the guy on a Sunday? I don't know. Could be interesting. It is primetime Thursday nights. They are favored, but this game's probably going to be a closer game than many expect, despite the fact that Tua has not been good on the road, not been good in the cold, not been good in primetime, and is 0-7 under 40 degrees. All things being said, I think this game is more competitive than people think. Yes, I said I like the 3.5 for Green Bay, but I still think this game's within a touchdown here. Pass completions, potentially a spot to look at 20.5. The pass attempts at 32.5. These both seem kind of low if they don't run the football a lot. Passing yards, always interesting enough, but my favorite would be the long pass. Jordan Love loves to throw the football down the field. Even against the Niners, there was a stretch there, closing moments of the second quarter. For whatever reason, Jordan Love, 3 and out, all 3 attempts, 30-plus yards down the field. He's just trying to get a PI, I think. But again, that just speaks volumes to how Jordan Love likes to play football. He likes to take his shots. He likes to throw the ball down the field. That is why he had thrown interception in 9 straight games going into this past week. Should have been 10 straight games. It really should have been. But, again, Niners dropped 2 picks and potentially 3 if you want to count the third one, which was, kind of a jump ball. Here's the deal, though. Do I think he throws an interception this game? I don't care. I'm not even looking at it. It's the long pass. I think he chucks it down the field. He takes, 3-4 attempts, 30-plus yards in this game, as he always does, and he just needs one. He just needs one to be completed, and he's going to cash this out for us. Devon Achane this season, crazy. With Tua under center, has now 5 receiving touchdowns. That's kind of nuts. With Tua under center, has 3 rushing touchdowns. So we're up to 8 touchdowns in, I believe, 7 games with Tua. 13.5 rush attempts, short week on the road. Interesting. It's been tough for him to get to this season. Not sure I can go there, but the rushing touchdown or honestly, the receiving touchdown is interesting to me. The receptions continue to be there. He's getting a ton of targets, 4, 5, and 8 with Tua under center starting off the season as well, 7-7 and 5. So we're getting a lot of opportunity here for Devon Achane. Receiving yards has been there as well. The long reception has been, literally, it's just, he's getting opportunity. And with Tua under center, he's been doing a pretty darn good job. My only concern is just this short week. What do we get out of this offense in this cold weather when they have struggled to move the football, when Tua has struggled? Just like many teams, during the quarterback struggles, the offense struggles. But some teams can overcome it with the running game. But that's not been Miami. They very much cannot run the football if Tua cannot throw it in a game. Teams load up the box and make him throw it, and they can't bust loose. So if he can get the ball down the field, complete a few passes, maybe make the defense stay honest, I do think Devon Achane's in an interesting spot. Anytime touchdown, you're getting plus odds, I believe, on sportsbooks. I do have Devon Achane typed in. Let's take a look. His rushing touchdown prop, you get a plus 130 on Fliff. Total touchdowns, okay, so not plus odds. You get a minus 106 on Caesars, plus 104 on Penny. Do I have a receiving touchdown category here? I believe I do. I do. Plus 455 for Devon Achane receiving touchdowns. You know what? Darn it, I'm touching this. I am. Little sprinkle on that one. A plus 455 for receiving touchdown for a guy who has 4 receiving touchdowns in 7 games with Tua. A touchdown in 6 of 7, but 4 receiving in those 7 games. I'm just saying, at plus 455, it could be worse. So give me the anytime, give me the receiving touchdown. I'm fine with it. Raheem Mostert become a non-factor. Not even on the field lately. Just not even on the field. 2 carries, 3 carries, 0 carries, 8, 10, 21 snaps. So we don't have to worry about him too much. It's either Devon Achane pops off or he doesn't. Josh Jacobs on the other side. Yeah, we got some interesting spots here for the over for the rushing touchdown, minus 130 on Fliff. Anytime touchdown, best odds, minus 160. Caesars and Fliff. Hard Rock, minus 155. Penny at minus 146. For his total receptions, 2.5. I don't know what I want to do there. I might look at that a little bit later. Longest rush, 15.5. And his rush attempt, 16.5 on FanDuel, 71.5. Best odds, 69.5 at minus 125 on ESPN Bet. If you like Josh Jacobs for the over, let's open up his player card. That's the spot I'd be looking at for this game. It's the over 69.5 rushing yards. My only concern, man, oh man, he just had 26 rush attempts against San Francisco. Now he's at a short week. They better rest this man for 3 days here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then let him just wake up and have a nice day at the spa Thursday before the game, because I need him. We need him. I want 18 plus rush attempts in this game. Interestingly enough, his rush attempt prop is at 16.5, which kind of makes me nervous. This is usually a little bit higher. Makes me think that Vegas is like, I don't know what kind of workload is going to get off 26 carries last game. And he had 22 touches the game prior. So if we don't get the rushing opportunity and upside, are the yards going to be there? I don't know. If you don't think the yards are going to be there, maybe the longest rush. Maybe he only gets 14, 15 carries. Just need one, okay? Maybe the longest run is the angle. But 69.5 rushing yards is pretty nice play here. I don't know if I can make it official, but it's certainly something to look at and think about. And again, the receptions, if this game's closer or for whatever reason you think they're playing from behind, then the receptions prop is interesting. All right, so Jalen Waddle bust out finally. $144, 9 targets, 8 catches, got down the field, scored a touchdown. But my word, my friends, we have just not seen it from him this year. Even with Tua under center, it's been shaky at best. So what do you do here? You go long reception? That's potentially the angle I would go. He continues to rack them up despite the fact he's not catching it very often. So Jalen, long reception, probably in play for me. Jonnu Smith's been the guy lately. That's crazy. Really racking up targets with Tua under center. And this is the beginning of the year. You saw 7 at one point. We've seen 6, 4, 8, and 11. So, he's had the opportunity. He's had the opportunity this year, and the yardage has followed suit. So, Jonnu Smith back in play this week? Absolutely. Why wouldn't he be? Reception yards, receiving yards, the long reception also in play, receiving touchdown, however you want to slice it and dice it. I think Jonnu needs to be looked at on a short list. On the flip side of things, Tyreek not healthy, man. His hand isn't healthy. His wrist, whatever it is, he broke it or something. He's struggling. He's struggling to get open this year. His separation metrics are down, which is interesting. Receptions, maybe you can touch on those, but what are we doing here? The long receptions just aren't happening right now. I mean, these are pedestrian numbers for him. So, yeah, I don't know. Good luck trying to figure out what's going on with Tyreek. I can't bet on him right now. Jaden Reed, man, Jekyll or Hyde. You don't know what you're getting here. He's getting downfield. He's going nuts, or he's barely getting past 2 targets, 3 targets, in and out of the lineup, banged up in the middle of games. So can you depend on him? Can you rely on him? It's hard to. I think it's the long reception or bust when it comes to Jaden Reed. Christian Watson, man, oh man, I don't even want to talk about him. He had no catches last game on 3 targets, dropped a huge one. Get him off the screen. Datavian Wicks, you don't know what you're getting from him, so I'm off the screen. Romeo Doubs, not scoring touchdowns. Don't know what I can rely on. Get him off the screen. Not a lot to like out there for Green Bay. You don't know what you're getting. It's probably just the long reception pass for Jordan Love, and just maybe look at Josh Jacobs a little bit. Do me a huge favor. I slammed in about an hour's worth of recording. It's going to take me several hours to edit this and publish it. A lot of information, a lot of analysis. Hopefully it helps you in your sports betting endeavors, your fantasy football, victories this week, whatever it might be. Please do me a huge favor. Like the video. If you're new, subscribe. 7 days a week, you get access here. Now, talked about it in the beginning. My friends, $1 right there. Oh, I can't touch it. Boop. $1. Sign up. $1 donate. 15 private channels inside Discord. You get access to the Ad Shopper app. And then, of course, you've got 10 plus sports and 8 plus cappers inside Discord. And all my goodies are going to be there for you as well. Now, one other thing I talked about, and I wanted to hear from you. So please tell me down below, what are you most thankful for? It's family and health for me. The tertiary, the secondary things would essentially just be the ability to be here and do this with you and having a roof over my head. I feel very blessed in life for these things, family and health, the ability to do what I do as a career and being able to be with you guys. So if you can help me out, tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like about the video. More importantly, just tell me what you're thankful for. And I want you to take 1 second before you reply. Truly, 1 second. Think about it this way. You're watching a YouTube video right now about sports betting for Thanksgiving football. All right, you have that ability. I want you to think about everything you do have and not what you don't have, okay? Hit me back on the comments. I look forward to reading those. I'll try to reply to at least as many as I can, but I would like to at least just read through them and hear where people are in life, all right? Say hello down below, and I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you inside Discord, my friends. Let's get paid, and happy Thanksgiving.